Hello, everybody. I believe we're live streaming. We'll have some of those that are with us to, don't have the radio button pushed, but I'm about to push it right now. I'm going to start all over again. And hello, everybody. It's so good to have y'all with us tonight. Those of you that are listening by Power Faith Radio, we want to thank you so much for coming this way and spending some time with us. Those of you, let's see if I can get them all out, Terry. Outreach Noah YouTube channel. Now, listen, if you're watching via the YouTube channel, or you know of the YouTube channel, or you're watching via of the Facebook pages, we're going to ask you to go over to Outreach Noah YouTube channel, subscribe to that channel, hit that notification bell that you'll be notified every time a new video goes up. We're trying to get to 100 subscriptions, and we're getting very close, and so we would appreciate your help on that. Also, those of you that are listening by South Carolina, Noah Hyde tonight, we want to thank Brooke Lee for inviting us to come over there. I still want to call Brooke Lee Bruce Lee. You know, that's hard to do, to get my tongue to work on that. So we thank him so much for the invitation, and we really like the work that Brooke is doing over there in South Carolina. Those of you that are listening tonight by B'nai Noach Fellowship, we thank you so much for joining that Facebook page. We ask you to kindly share that and bring some people in if they're wanting to be interested with just the simplicity of being a Noahide. We try not to go over anybody's head. I love Terry's teaching, and it just fits right in there. Hold on. So, and also those of you that listen by A Simple Walk tonight, we thank you so much for coming this way. Share those videos with all your social media platforms and subscribe to that channel. Join those channels, and we're so glad to have you with us tonight. Terry is on vacation. I was gone last week, and we didn't get to be here because I got the dilithium crystals here in front of me, and I wasn't able to operate them where I was at, but we're back here tonight, and Terry's on vacation tonight. And if we would, Terry, if you would greet everybody that's in the Zoom room, I'm going to get ready for our Tzedakah time. And then, Terry, if it's okay, once I do Tzedakah, I'm going to turn it back over to you for about 5 minutes while I get prepared. Would that be okay?
Oh, wow, thanks. Okay, no problem.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Terry.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Hope you all can hear me. I'm on my laptop in Jekyll Island, Georgia. My wife and I, we love coming down to Jekyll Island. It's our little getaway spot. We prefer it better than Florida. It's less crowded. And plus, we got these nice, sweet Georgia, Southern folk, just, close to home like Tennessee. And so I just want to greet y'all from Jekyll Island down here on the ocean. On the Atlantic Ocean. So it's been about 3 to 4 years since we've been down here because of the way the world went crazy. Couldn't get off work and couldn't get down here. But we're enjoying a few days just not working for a while. Everything. So I just want to greet everyone. Thank y'all for coming. Next week, when we come back, we're going to start getting into in-depth of the Noahide laws. Next week won't be. I've kind of got some things I want to cover beforehand before we get into them, do a little bit of explanation of what you're going to be, hearing and finding out, and just a few other things that I want to share with everyone next week. And Scotty, are you about ready?
I am ready. All right. I'm going to start off. It's been 2 weeks since we did this, but we didn't have a whole lot. But we did have a lot of people that contacted us about some serious things. And Terry, if it's okay, I'm just going to drop something in some people's ear, not the depth of it, but we're going to be implementing some more things in our outreach. So we want you to be much in I'm going to say prayer for that.
Yeah, that's a good word for that.
That's a good word for that, isn't it? For what's going to happen. And so we want you to stay tuned, and it's really going to help change our B'nai Noach lives. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the birthdays first of all tonight. And Brett Hoffpop, if I pronounced that correctly, had a birthday since the last time we were here. Also, this week, Rabbi Tovia Singer had a birthday, so we're giving tzedakah for Rabbi Tovia Singer. Also, Jeremiah Lahardson had a birthday this past week. You can see, I told people, I kind of laugh about this. I don't claim it, but they told me in school I was dyslexic, and when I read, my words go together. I think this is ironic, Wendell, that I'm sitting here trying to read names and doing tzedakah at the same time. Don't y'all think that? And Wendell, all y'all, I think it. See, I was looking at Wendell, and I think I said Ronald, didn't I? Did I say? I don't. Did I say Wendell? Well, there we go. Maybe I'm getting better. So, all right. Also, Rita had a birthday this week. Also, Sarah Baker had a birthday this week. Also, Krista Houston had a birthday this past week. Now, let me get the page turned here a little bit. And we're going to go into, we're just going to give some tzedakah for people that really need a touch. And, of course, we always try to give tzedakah for our teacher, Rabbi Pesach Sherbo. Also, Mary Parsons. Wendell, how is your wife doing?
The radiation's doing well. I mean, she's getting some of the more advanced effects, and it's more fatigue than anything else that's getting her now. She's doing a lot more sleeping, goes to bed early, has to take a nap and stuff. But, other than that, she's doing very well with it.
Okay. We're going to keep her in our tzedakah list. Also, let me see where I got here too. Ronnie Suits. How's Ronnie doing, Terry? What's the update on Ronald?
He's doing good. His blood pressure has been back up. It fluctuated a little bit the other day, but not bad. He's been having to go have some other tests done for just normal things. He thinks they messed his glasses up on him, and it's been making his eyes just bounce around quite a bit. So he had an eye doctor's appointment yesterday at the VA to get that fixed. But other than that, he seems to be doing pretty good.
Okay, good deal.
The pollen, it went crazy. I mean, we're going in the fall, and we actually had a pollen alert the other day in Chattanooga, and that was affecting him because, like I said, he's a COVID survivor. He had COVID pneumonia, lost the use of the top part of both of his lungs. So when he starts coughing, he just doesn't have the oxygen, and it fatigues him.
Right.
And that pollen was like really getting to him. Thursday. We were really getting to him Thursday pretty bad and everything. So anybody that's gone through the pneumonia and stuff like that, part of it, when that pollen hits like that, it's hard to breathe. Imagine taking away about 30% of your lungs on top of that.
Right. Well, we're going to continue to give tzedakah for him. Also, Amuela, someone always sends in $1 for you, and this is your dollar going into tzedakah to help someone in need. We thank you for sending that. Also, we're giving tzedakah tonight for Sharon Garland, and we're giving tzedakah tonight. Thomas, someone always sends in $1 for you, and this is your dollar going into the tzedakah box to help a need. Also, Veronica Port. Now, Veronica's out hunting another car because, her vehicle got stolen here a while back, and she got it back, but apparently it's not in very good health. I don't know why they didn't fill it up full of fuel before they give it to her and took it to the mechanic, but that happens sometimes when people steal your car. So anyway, she's looking for another vehicle, so we're giving tzedakah for her. Also, we're giving tzedakah tonight for Tina Lyons, and also for David Morris. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. David Morris. That's someone that sent tzedakah in for David Morris. Also, Karen Wells. We're giving tzedakah for Karen Wells tonight. We're looking for the Creator to give a full recovery there. Also, we're giving tzedakah tonight for Etheline Moore. Etheline Moore had a light stroke, but she's home now with home health care, so she's getting slowly but surely getting back up there. We're also giving tzedakah for my daughter tonight, Pamela Helton, and my wife. Well, wait a minute, I got to get all these in there. And my wife, Dolores Helton, she's the one down the bottom, got her head over on that handsome man. So if y'all can see her, she's down the bottom here with me. I don't know where she's at with you, but everybody calls her Annie, but her name is Dolores Helton. And also Donna Schaus. Did I pronounce it? Did I write that right? Okay, I did that right. We're giving tzedakah for her tonight. Now, our blessed memory tzedakah tonight is for Edward Charles Murphy. Edward Charles Murphy. We're giving tzedakah tonight for his merit. And we thank you so much, that person that sent that in. I want to read that name again. Blessed memory for Edward Charles Murphy. Now, I'm not going to give my line at this time, because I'm going to give my line here in a few minutes, because that's what I'm going to kindly talk about tonight. And so, Terry, if you can give me about 5 minutes to get ready, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Fred, what did Fred say? Fred said something about tzedakah. Hold on just a minute. I don't want to leave it if we're on it. Can you give us our two cousins, Jeff, Rich? Yes, we can. Yes, we can, Fred. That's what we're here for. Jeff, Rich, Jeff, and Mike. Am I reading that correctly? So we're giving tzedakah for both of those and putting that in the tzedakah. Thank you, Fred, for bringing that up to us. Okay, Terry.
Scotty, I'd like to add one more. She hasn't asked for it, but I know she'll appreciate it. She's one of our listeners that lives in Chattanooga, Tiffany. So
okay.
She's had a life situation. I won't mention what it is, but she's had a life situation that's happened. And so let's give tzedakah and prayer for her.
I did see that, and I apologize for not putting your name, Tiffany. And I think she's listening over on one of the Facebook pages. We're giving tzedakah for that, Tiffany, tonight. Better. We're giving tzedakah that's going to be better, bigger and better. So, all right. Okay, Terry, if you'll give me just a few minutes to get set up here, I'd greatly appreciate it.
A few minutes. You want me to go cold turkey? I'm down here on the ocean.
Yeah, it won't take me long. It's just a couple of clicks.
You know, it almost is dangerous. Yes. Anyhow, we'll give you a few minutes. You know, we're looking forward to hearing what Scotty's got to give tonight, because we know he's going to be giving it from his heart. It's a subject that if you've ever heard Scotty speak, it comes out of his mouth. So we're all looking forward to hearing the topic that he's going to be covering tonight. And again, I just want to say we appreciate everyone that's come along with us on this journey. Scotty mentioned that we do have some things in the works. It's gonna help fill a void with quite a few people. It's one of those voids when you step away from religion, and you're trying to find your way. Sometimes like you're groping in the dark sometimes, and there's some voids. And Scotty and I noticed these things. We discussed these things, and we've got a project that we are working on to help in one of the areas that we think that's everyone's going to find that it'll be beneficial when we get it going. Not that I'm trying to bait the hook there, but we will be announcing it here pretty soon, because it is a major thing. We've actually already kind of tested it a little bit, and it seems to be that's the direction that we need to be going. We even talked with our rabbi about it here last week and discussed it with him as well. So we have our blessings from our rabbi as well on that. But next week, like I said, you won't come. I'm just going to kind of give a little bit of a heart-to-heart beginning next week when we get into class. Really about, a little bit of a heart-to-heart about what the Noahide walk is. I know it's, for those who are not really familiar with that term, you'll learn a little bit more about it on a just basic human level, what it is. And I want to give a little bit of talk before we get into some scripture that I've been discussing, over the last few months. I said I was going to get into. We're going to do it, Hashem willing, next week. I think, Scotty, are you about ready?
I am ready. I'm ready.
All righty. Well, I'm going to mute and let you have it.
All right, I'm going to go to speaker view. I don't really like to do that when I talk by myself, but I'm going to do that. And Terry's usually on speaker view. Am I on speaker view? Because I just see me. I mean, I see you, Terry. Did it let me go to speaker view? Let me try it now. Am I on speaker view? Is I just got Terry?
Okay. No, when you're on speaker view, whoever's speaking is on the view.
Okay.
And like right now, I've got everyone in the Zoom room that's up. So you're only going to see yourself, and
Okay.
whoever else talks will come up. It's whoever is speaking is on the main view.
Well, apparently, the way I've got this set up, I'm not going to be able to put speaker view on myself. So, see, that's going to be okay. So,
There you
all
go.
of you, I just wanted to let everybody, one of you, know that your reactions are going to be shown to everybody tonight. So, of what I say. So, now, I'm going to delve into this, and I'm just going to do a little bit of heart to heart here to begin with. And let's see if I can hold on just a minute. I'm just working out here just a little bit. So I want to talk a little bit of heart to heart before I get started deep. I shared with Amuela where I've received most of my text, and so she can put that up as we go through this. Most of my information that I'm going to share with you tonight I got from Chabad.org. There's other information that I reached out to, but I chose Chabad.org to share with you because it's one that you can go to and find the information that I'm going to present tonight, and hopefully it will bring some great things to your heart, mind, your body, your soul, the whole thing. So I want to talk about society today. I know I'm not going to be telling you anything where I'm just giving you an epiphany where I'm going to be waking you up, because society today, I don't think I'm 62 years old now, and I don't think I've ever seen such a volatile society today. I mean, it seems like everybody's picking sides with one thing or the other, and it's pulling families apart, it's pulling religions apart, it's pulling relationships apart, it's pulling a lot of things apart, and anymore you just don't know what to say to anybody other than hello and goodbye. Maybe that's why it says just say hello and goodbye. But the society is such at a turmoil. I've seen families splitting because of political opinions, and they're not talking to anybody now. And then at the same time as that's being volatile, I see families splitting because of religious opinions, and even on Facebook every day you'll see opinions and things that have come up, and but it's like it's separating us, Ronald. It's like separating everybody, and it's a tragedy, and it's not just affecting the grown-ups, but children are seeing this and they're being affected by it. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was in a family's house. I do maintenance on low-income housing. I was in a family's house, and I could tell that the parents were kindly having an argumentative position. I mean, that's nothing new, but it was over something that was trivial. And there was a little boy that they have a little boy there. He's about 9 years old, and he came into the kitchen while I was working on these people's stove. And the next thing I knew, they turned their anger toward him. He asked a question, and they just told him to shut up, and of course, me being the old man I am, I'm able to say something back. You know, people feel I just say you can just count this up for my age, but if I'm ever in here again and I hear you talk to him like that, I'm just gonna have to say something about it. And so I invited that young man to come on in the kitchen with me and help me work on the stove. You know, he was just curious. So, but it worries me, and I always said this: what you say to your children today will become their inner voice tomorrow. So I just want to throw that in. But it's just affecting all aspects of our lives. So having said that, I think some of you have the same childhood memories that I have. So I want to insert some of those. I'm going to get some text here in a minute, but I want to insert some of these childhood memories that will ever affect my heart and my mind. I lived with my grandparents the most of my young years, and I remember we didn't have much, but we always had enough to share. I remember when somebody got sick on the block, or in the neighborhood, we may not even have known them, but when the call went out, there was somebody sick. Everybody got together. Everybody prepared food. Everybody went over. I remember this one lady in particular had fell and broke her hip. And I remember my grandmother going over there after she cleaned her own house. She went over there and cleaned this lady's house. And it wasn't just her. It was other people in the community, other people involved in what was going on. And it was all about part of helping each other. I remember in the heat of summer one time, there was a gentleman that lived in the next county over, and he had fell off a tractor and it kind of hurt his leg, and so he wasn't able to mow his own grass. And I remember my grandfather working on putting a push mower in the trunk of our car and drove over where that was at, and it was a humongous yard, and my grandfather mowed his yard and asked for nothing in return. Those are some of the things as I grew up that really affected me. I can see some of you nodding. You remember those times. You remember what that was all about. Well, I want to tell you something. That is pure and simple tzedakah in its purest form. When you're doing things, kind deeds, when you're doing good deeds, when you're acting in positions of charity, that is what righteousness, that's the whole net of righteousness. It's justice and kindness and doing good deeds without asking for anything in return. If you do a charity and you're asking for something in return, that's not really a charity. You're just making an investment. But when you do a charity, now I'm using the word charity, and I want to tell you why I think this is why, Terry, that most of our teachers use the terminology charity based on money. It's because money talks to people. When you involve the situation of money, it kindly talks to people. They understand that. But do you know, mowing somebody's grass all the way down to saying hello and holding the door for somebody is the same. That's an act of charity. That's an act of tzedakah. Today, I was mindfully, when I was going to work and driving around in my work, I was mindfully looking for people that was needing to get out in traffic. Sometimes, I'm just going to be sorry and tell you, sometimes I don't want to let them out because I'm in a hurry myself. Can I get a witness from anybody? So, but today I was mindful about stopping traffic and letting these people out. And all but one, now there were several that I let out, all but one did not wave their hand when they got out. But there was this one in particular, is this sweet, I got to watch how I say elderly gentleman, because I'm elderly now, so I got to watch how I say that. You know, when I was in my 20s, I could say elderly gentleman, but now I'm in my 60s. I don't know how to say that anymore. But I let him out, and he didn't wave, and the first thing hit my mind was, he didn't wave at me. And so then I realized, wait a minute, was I doing this for a wave? Was I doing this to get something back? But I want to tell you, when we stopped at the red light, he jumped out of his car and came back and shook my hand. Said, thank you so much. I've been sitting there for almost an hour. So, I mean, it's just the little things. So all these are a part, a makeup of Tzedakah. It's so easy. And I found some things while I was looking for this, and I truly appreciate the opportunity. And I'm trying not to get excited because when I talk, I'm passionate about what I say. It really comes from my heart. And so sometimes I'll get passionate. So I just want to tell you, I'm wanting people, if I need to get up and run around my desk, I'll be back in a few minutes. So you can just admire the books behind me. Because there's something about Tzedakah. There's something about we look at terminologies of righteousness. There's something about doing charity without desiring anything in return. There's something that it does inside of you. And while I was looking for this information that I wanted to give, I found something on Chabad.org that shook me to my very core. Now, I'm going to try to share this because I can't read these names. I already told you that I'm not able to read these names. So some of you are going to have to help me read these names, and I'll get Terry to help me do this. So Tzedakah. Now I want to do this top one right here. This one right here first. Tzedakah and acts of kindness are the equivalent of all the mitzvot of the Torah. That comes from the Jerusalem Talmud. Now, can I say that one more time? Everybody's running around trying to find all these mitzvot. I want to do these mitzvot to get connected to God. I want to do this. I want to do these deep things. I'm just going to, I want to wear tzitzit. I want to wear all this. I want to do all these things. But this just said, Tzedakah and acts of kindness are equivalent of all the mitzvot of the Torah. Pardon me while I just say, wow. If I can just am I reading that correctly, Terry?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Terry. I was looking for an amen, but that's okay.
You know why, don't you? I mean, I'm not going to say
no. Go ahead.
I'm not going to say a definite why. It's because tzedakah and acts of kindness is imitating the Creator.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I hope I didn't jump on you.
No, you didn't. I was going to get to that, and you're in that. That's good. That's why we're partners. That's why we're together. That's now. If you take a running fit, then we'll look for you to come back here in a few minutes. Okay. Now, greater is tzedakah than all the sacrifices. Wow. When I saw this, I'd read over these in the past, but when I saw this coming together, and there I've got the sources for what I'm telling you in the Talmud. What's that word? Sukkah? Is that Sukkah 49b? And I went and found that one, so I'm going to share some of that with you here in a minute. If only the people, now Terry teaches on this about the flood quite often. And when I saw this, Terry, it shook me. I was so close to crying, there was tears coming out of my eyes. If only the people who lived in the generation of the flood and the people of Sodom had given tzedakah, they would not have perished.
Exactly.
Wow. That, and again, I got to put this in before I go any further. Everybody's trying to run around to find all these deep mitzvahs that we can do to get in a connection with the Creator. What about just starting with the simplicity of tzedakah? Wow. Okay. Go ahead, Terry.
Can I expound on that a little bit?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let's look at what's mentioned here, the generation of the flood. Our sages teach us that the flood came based on the Hamas, which is the injustice, which is human to human. It did not come because of idolatry. It did not come because of immorality. It came because of injustice between man and man. Tzedakah cures injustice. Okay, Sodom. Ezekiel 16:49 tells us, the prophet tells us that the Creator says that their sin was because they were wealthy, but that yet they did not lift the hand of the needy. And so again, it's an injustice. And
yes.
yeah, that explains, because tzedakah is a justice, is a form of justice.
Yes, thank you, Terry. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope the people are getting what we're trying to present to them tonight. And so I want to do this last one here before I go any further. Greater is tzedakah. Great is tzedakah. For since the day that, now get this, since the day the world was created until this day, the world stands upon tzedakah.
That's in the Psalms, and I don't have my Tehillim with me. I'm thinking it's 89:3 or something like that. That says that the world was built on chesed, on kindness.
Yes.
That's what it says.
Yes, yes. So what I'm trying to present, what Terry and I are presenting tonight, is that, everybody's wanting to be so deep in all these, I'm not Jewish, but I see a lot of non-Jews wanting to connect with the Creator by doing Jewish things. But we don't have to do that. We've got a great mitzvah right here. We got a great avenue to do right here, tzedakah. So, okay, here we go. This is one of Terry's. I think Terry likes this one. And I pulled it from something he said, so I know he's going to get on it too. And that's why we're a team. In Bereshit, or Genesis chapter 18, verse 19, for I have known him because he commands his sons and his household after him, that they should keep the way of the Lord to perform. Here's the way of the Lord: to perform righteousness and justice, in order that the Lord bring upon Abraham that which he spoke concerning him. Terry, you want to jump on that? I can see you're leaning forward.
Okay, righteousness and justice. There is a thread. At one time, I haven't done it, but there is a thread of this statement of righteous and justice. It goes through Genesis on up through the Torah. Righteousness here is the Hebrew word tzedakah.
Yes.
And justice is mishpat. No, wait a minute. I may have it wrong. I don't have my Hebrew. No, it's mishpat and tzedakah, if I remember right. I don't have my Hebrew books with me. But anyhow, you have tzedakah and mishpat, which is basically you have the charity and the commandments of these commandments are the commandments that governs a society.
Yeah. So I mean, and these are the simplicity things is what I'm getting at. So I also
righteousness was tzedakah. I remember, because with the
yes,
it's reversed in a couple of passages of justice and tzedakah. But when it refers to Israel and Abraham, tzedakah is mentioned first.
Yes, yes. So I want to throw this last verse text in here in Proverbs chapter 21. Amuel, I'm not going too fast for you, Emma. I keep throwing these in, so she's pretty good at keeping up. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 3, performing charity and justice is preferred by God to sacrifice. So I just want to throw that one in. Now, let's get on over here to this. I found this, and I was sharing this with somebody, and they kind of got on me and told me, said, "Oh, you ought not be reading that." Well, I'm not reading it. I got this off Chabad.org. I'm just sharing it, and if you want to read it, you can go on over. And I had an interesting thing happen this week. Let me stop the share and tell you this interesting thing. I had one of my older videos come up and said, "You are what you eat," and I preached to myself. I kindly talked to myself through that, and so it was some time ago. I think it was like 2 years ago. I did that little video on "You are what you eat," and if you eat turmoil, if you eat depression, if you eat all these things, that's what you're going to be. But if you eat happiness. Now let me clarify that. I know there's a lot of times we wake up in the morning and we don't feel too happy. I know there's a lot of times we wake up or we try to start our day and it doesn't feel like it's going to be a good day. But have you ever been in one of those days and suddenly when you step outside, I like what Veronica says. I think it's Veronica that says it. The world I need to touch is right outside my front door. And step outside your front door and greet somebody with a great hello, how it makes you feel, how it changes. That food will go inside you and it affects you from the inside out. And it just changes your mindset. And before you know it, you're not having a bad day anymore. Somebody ought to say amen right there. I'm preaching. I'm an evangelist. I can do that. So anyway, it's something that I guess my principal fact for getting into this is, again, and I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough that everybody's trying to connect with the Creator. And right here, we have one of the greatest facets of connection with the Creator that you could ever do and perform. And it's not just for one, it's for all. It's for everybody to connect with the Creator this way. Something that Rabbi Scobach taught on one of his classes here a few years ago, and I say it often. It's one of my quotes that I picked up, and I kindly built upon it just a little bit. And the Torah teaches us four things. It teaches us the connection and responsibility to the Creator, connection and responsibility to creation, connection and responsibility to mankind, humanity, and connection and responsibility to ourselves. Now, in studying that, I come to the realization, Terry, that if I lack in any one of these, if I lack in my connection and responsibility with the Creator, connection and responsibility with creation, I'm getting fast now, with humanity, or even myself, I will lack in them all. But if I excel in any one of them, if I excel, for instance, in my connection and responsibility to the Creator, suddenly my connection and responsibility to creation, my connection and responsibility to humanity, and my connection and responsibility to myself excel with it. Or if I excel in the connection of myself, or if I could excel in the connection with humanity, suddenly all four are lifted up at the same time. I grow in all those. But if I lack in any one of those, if I go through the day and lack in any one of those, it pulls the others down. Now, I hope I said that to where everybody can understand that. If not, we can go deeper in another class. But our principal walk, our principal mitzvot, is to excel in these, all these items, to excel in these four. So let me get over here, and Terry, I'm going to have to get you to help me read some of these, but I found this in Sukkah 49b when I went over and looked at that one, and this is Rabbi Eliezer said. Now, this is a statement that he said. One, say that again.
Are you going to screen share?
Oh, yes, I am. Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. I minimized and didn't screen share. I was acting like I did. See, I'm getting excited. I need to give the buttons to somebody else here for a little bit. So it says here that let me get this moved over. It says in Sukkah 49b. Now, this is a statement by Rabbi Eliezer said, "One who performs acts of charity is greater than one who sacrifices all types of offerings. As it is stated, to perform charity and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than an offering." That's in the one we shared up there, including all types of offerings. He also said in a statement, Rabbi Eliezer said, acts of kindness, assisting someone in need, are greater than charity. As it is stated, sow to yourself according to charity and reap according to kindness. This is in Hosea 10:12. Hosea 10:12. This means if a person sows, It is uncertain whether he will eat or whether he will not eat. It depends on what happens, since much can go wrong before the seed becomes food. However, if a person reaps, he certainly eats. In this verse, charity is likened to sowing, while acts of kindness are likened unto reaping. That's just awesome. I'm going to do just a couple more here. I'm not going to do a whole lot of these. And he also said, the reward for charity is paid from heaven only in accordance with the kindness and generosity included therein. So let's talk about that for a second. I remember, I'm going to tell on myself here, cute little story. When I was a little boy living in my grandfather and grandmother's house, it was my responsibility to take out the garbage. Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. I didn't like doing that. Ronald, I didn't like taking out the garbage. Because what happened, I would be slothful or slacking on taking out the garbage. I even hate to do it here. You can ask my wife. So anyway, we'll not. But I was slothful, and by the time I got around to it, Amuella, it didn't smell real good. And it got to the point that my grandmother, now listen, I got an allowance for taking out the garbage. But I didn't want to work every day for the allowance. I just want to do it when I felt like doing it, when I got time to do it, when I couldn't take it no more. So my grandmother got on me one day and she said, now listen, if you want your allowance, you're going to get in there and take that garbage out. Well, that spoke to me. So I got in there and I was willing. No, I was obedient, but I wasn't real willing. I was obedient, but I wasn't real willing. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I went in there and I grabbed that garbage out of the garbage bin. I tied it up. I went stomping out the front door. I slammed it in the can outside. I slammed the lid on it, and I came back in the house and sat down and said, there now, I did it. And she said, you know what? I'm not going to give you your allowance this week. Why? I did what you told me to do. Yes, but it was how you did it. I should have got an amen right there. It was how you did it. You was obedient, but was you willing? Well, somebody was going to say something. Who was going to say something?
Go ahead. Attitude. It was attitude.
Attitude. Yes, you are so right. Attitude. And go ahead, Terry. You land up. Go ahead.
There again, I don't have my resources. I've got a picture of the beach behind me. There is a passage, and many rabbis discuss it in the Torah about serving the Creator in joy.
Yes.
And when you observe the commandments, you observe them in joy, not drudgery.
And there is a big difference. No, I don't want to tell myself. I don't want to tell on myself on another one. But anyway, there is a big difference. We need to do it of the passionate because we love to do it. It's as Ronald said, it's the attitude. Some people. Oh, I didn't want to bring out a negative position in this, but I'm going to have to go ahead and dump this in since this came up. Sometimes people do mitzvot, commandments. Let me say it, commandments. Let me talk in language that I hope everybody can understand. Sometimes we do them lacking the passion. We do them because we think that it's going to get our connection, and we don't think the passion or the attitude has anything to do with it, just as long as I did it. Some people get up in the morning, they do a morning prayer, and I can tell by the way they do it because I can tell by the way they do it, they're really not passionate about it. They're just going through the motions. No connection there. No respectfulness to what you're doing. No reverence to what you're doing. Just going through the motions. But I've also go ahead. What, Terry?
Ticking boxes.
Ticking boxes.
Got this and got this and got this and got this.
Yes.
Totally emotional.
Yes. But I've also seen people with a great passion, great love for what they're doing, misquote what they're doing. Didn't get it all out. Didn't get all the prayer out. But which one was touched the most? The one who did it correctly but didn't have the passion? Or the one that had the passion and may not have done it all correctly? They just had the passion. We'll learn. Terry, you keep leaning up. I'm going to keep asking you to jump in. Come on, Terry.
I'll stay back.
Okay, no, you're good, Terry. You're good. So,
I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. That reminds me of the story, the guy who prayed the alphabet.
yes, tell that story, Terry. Tell that story.
It's an old Jewish story about there's some rabbis that were traveling to another destination, and they stayed at an inn that was owned and run by a fellow Jew. I think it was over in Europe somewhere, like Ukraine. I think somewhere in Europe, like 1800s. And the innkeeper would take care and do everything he needed to do to take care of his guests, and then he would disappear. This happened every day, and they'd ask him to come and daven, to come and pray with them, because the Jews they do communal prayer, but he didn't. He disappeared. So one day they followed him after they ate and everything. He disappeared. They kind of followed him into the woods, and so he was praying the Hebrew alphabet, all of Festos. He was praying the alphabet very fervently, and they were puzzled at what he's doing, and he was asked, what are you doing? And so he admitted that he was a simple man. He didn't know all the deep prayers of his people, but he knew the alphabet, and he prayed the alphabet, and he let the Creator form the words that needed to be done. And he was just in his simplicity, but he was passionate with it. Even though he couldn't do the prayers, he was passionate in what he could do.
Yes. That Baruch Hashem. Let me say amen. Let me say amen to that. So all right. So the passion has a lot to do. So let me tell you something, and I'm going to read just a little bit more here, and time's just flying by. Some of the things I try to do during the day, I'm going to talk about my personal Tzedakah life. So you're going to hear me kind of stutter around a little bit because it means a lot to me. And I don't want to present it to you like I'm bragging or boasting. I want to present it in the humbleness that the Creator puts it in me to do. These names that we read, especially the blessed memory, there are times during the week when I come to or upon a charity box that I will give into that charity box, and I will mention that person's name. I feel that's the right passion attitude to have. I feel that is the passionate thing to do. But it's not just in the charity box. There are waiters and waitresses that sometimes I'll feel led to, bless them. And I see the spark of the Creator when it happens. I don't know if Terry and I eat together, and Thomas and I and Terry have all eat together, and I've seen waiters and waitresses be in the mully grubs. Now that's a word we use here in Townsend. Anybody know what the mully grubs is? If you don't know what the mully grubs is, we'll have to define that for you. But they're in the mully grubs. But when you start bringing out the passion that the Creator has put inside you, even in your speech, how you order, how you talk to them, how you greet them, gratitude is a great big part of this. And then when you're called upon to to bless them, you do it. That's just as much part of this tzedakah as anything. So anyway, I just throw that in. Let me get in here and read the rest of this. So also, Rabbi Eleazar said, this is a statement still. This is beyond, in the Talmud, this is beyond all the discussion. This is in the final statements written down. The reward for charity is paid from heaven only in accordance with the kindness and generosity included therein, and in accordance with the effort and the consideration that went into the giving. Wow. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. It is not merely in accordance with the sum of money. That's what we're talking about. As it is stated, sow to yourselves according to charity and reap according to kindness. The sages taught that the acts of kindness are superior to charity in 3 respects. Charity can be performed only with one's money. Now, of course, we know that it can be, but they're talking about monetary value. While acts of kindness can be performed both with his person and with his money. Charity is giving to the poor, while acts of kindness are performed both. This is one that just simply amazes me. But while acts of kindness are performed both for the poor and for the rich, charity is given to the living, while acts of kindness are performed both for the living and for the dead. Oh, I didn't share that when I read it, did I? Let me just share it. Let me share it so I can read it one more time real fast. We got just a few minutes. I want you to read it with me. Up here at the top. The reward of charity is paid from heaven only in accordance with the kindness and generosity included therein, and in accordance with the effort and the consideration that went into the giving. I'm glad I went back now. Is anybody went out prepared to give? Ready to give? You had a mindset to give? You had an intent to give? You had a passion to give? Just throw that in. That didn't cost you nothing. That's just somebody used to say, well, that didn't cost you a dime. So anyway, so as it is stated, sow to yourselves. No, it is not merely in accordance with the sum of money. As it is stated, sow to yourselves according to charity and reap according to kindness. The sages taught that acts of kindness are superior to charity in 3 respects. Charity can be performed only with one's money, while acts of kindness can be performed both with his person and with his money. Charity is given to the poor, while acts of kindness are performed both for the poor and for the rich. Charity is giving to the living, while acts of kindness are performed both for the living and for the dead. Now, I'm going to leave it right there, and next time I get into this, I'm going to pick up right there, and we're going to see how it's performed with the living and with the dead. Terry, you got anything else to add? Because it's 5 minutes till.
No, because what I was going to add would have jumped right in where you just said you were going to start back at.
Well, no, that's fine.
No. I don't want to spoil anything.
It's hard telling how long that's going to be, Terry. Throw it in.
It could be next week if you own it.
No, you're going to be here next week. Throw it in. Throw this in. I beg you. I implore. Throw it in.
Okay. There's several aspects of doing acts of kindness to the dead. But there's one that if I remember right, it's the greatest act of kindness that can be done. You know what that act of kindness is, what the greatest act of kindness is?
My mind is telling me a couple things. I could say maybe donating to the funeral, or I could say going with them to the cemetery, mourning for them. What is the greatest?
You're hitting on it. The greatest act of kindness is escorting the dead, because that is an act of kindness that they cannot repay. It's total unselfishness. That
Wow.
they cannot repay. You can do an act of kindness for someone and do it great, and then turn around. They may repay you back if all possible, or when they can. But when you escort the dead, there is absolutely no way for that act of kindness to be repaid. And so, therefore, it's the sages teach us one of the highest forms of kindness is to escort the dead to the grave.
Wow. Wow.
So I hope I didn't step on you.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It just added to. It just added to. All right, everybody. It's been almost an hour. Time flew when I was having fun. I don't know how it flew for you. Does anybody have anything they would like to add here in the Zoom room? Does anybody have anything just a little bit to this?
Awesome job. Like I said, if you want to do it next week.
No, you're starting yours, and Uella's got something to throw in there.
It damn well.
All right.
There you
go. Because of my disability, there are people who want to help me, but don't know how to ask.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they think, like some people, they think that I'll be put off because of my disability. I want to be independent.
Yeah.
My mother always said, I'm too independent for my own good. Anyway, when I see people hesitating, I let them. To me, that's charity. Letting them express kindness toward me. Am I right?
Yes. You want to throw in on that, Terry? Did you hear what she said?
Yeah, she's saying about letting someone that maybe doesn't know how to help it, letting them do it anyhow, is her way of letting them, get the blessing of charity. And in a way, it's interesting because you've got two acts of kindness. The one the person is wanting to do,
yes,
and the one that Amuel is doing back. Both of those are two acts of kindness.
Yes.
And they're marrying with each other. And
that gave me cold chills.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Amuela. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. I enjoyed it. Thank you for letting me spit this out about what Tzedakah means to me. And it's a passion of my life. And it wasn't something that just started on me since I came into this particular walk. It was something that my grandparents sowed in me. And it didn't come by religion or politics. It came by relationship. And that's what I'm going to challenge you to do. Tomorrow, when your day starts, you get a hold of somebody, make sure you tell them thank you. I always tell my grandkids when I see them, I whisper in their ear, and I say, Papa's so proud of you. And some of them's too young to even know what the word means. But when I whispered in their ear, their face lights up. And be full of gratitude, thankfulness, and tzedakah. Terry, how about bringing us to a close tonight?
Oh, I think you can go another hour, Scotty.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I know you got it in you. Oh, thank you, Scotty. That was amazing. And I know that you could probably speak on this all week long because the charity, Tzedakah does, and charity is a. You've watched it. If you get a chance, go over and watch some of Scotty's videos. Scotty, how can they find your videos? Ones you did. I know you fixed to start them back again.
Yes, just go over to my Facebook page and go to the photo area and then go in the video area.
There you go. Go watch some of his videos because he brings it down to everyday life, and that's what we're about. This is everyday life, and so I just want to say thanks. And again, I give more since I've met Scotty than I probably have in most of my life. I've learned more about charity and giving through him than anywhere else in the world, because one of the things that we do, one of the things when I was studying, to join the Jewish people, was one of the things, when we get into talking about the prohibition of theft, giving is the positive side of that. And one of the things that my wife and I was taught was that when you find money, I don't care if it's a penny or whatever, the Creator does not cause someone else to have a loss so you can have a gain. And so even though you found that and you can't return it, one day we found like $80 out in a restaurant parking lot, and the cars were gone and there was no way. And so that's not yours to keep. It's not a blessing. So you donate that to charities, to Tzedakah, and today, he's walking around, and I just stepped out onto a parking lot. Yeah, it wasn't much. It laid a quarter. And so I told my wife, I said, well, maybe we'll run into a stock box, which we don't have a lot of them for some reason in our area. And lo and behold, in one of the areas we went to, there was one there. And because of Scotty, didn't hesitate. So go ahead.
Yes. So I give my 2 cents worth because, Scotty, that's what I want to say to you, is because, you're leading by example. And you see what Terry just said, and I just said the same thing because of what you've been doing as an example. I've been doing that thing like you've been talking about. Every time I grab a coat and I throw it in Tzedakah, I either reach my. I'm doing something I've never done before on behalf of someone else. I think that you elevate that person, like it could be your mom or your dad, in blessed memory. So, because of what your example and what you've taught, you can see the impact already. So, that's what I believe that Hashem has put in you and everybody else. So, you're affecting those around you. So I just want to throw my 2 cents worth in because of you. Terry just said it. He's known you a lot longer than me, but I'm just saying, just because of what you've done, you've infected me.
Bless your
and
heart.
that's Tzedakah.
I'm humbled. Yes. I'm humbled. I'm humbled. Thomas.
Did you just say bless my heart?
No,
No.
I said,
No.
Thank you, man. I got you. You did, but it was a good one.
I might have, Fred, but I didn't say it in the way of bless your heart.
He didn't say it.
Well, bless your heart.
Oh, I'm humbled. I'm humbled, Fred. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think Thomas is going to throw something in here before we go to close.
You think about Tzedakah. Well, when you look at Scotty, you're looking at Tzedakah. And I'm blessed to know this man. I've seen him do things and light people's faces up. And it's taught me, it's given me a kinder heart. I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, I helped people and stuff, but I was kind of cold. But my wonderful friend here, who I love dearly, he just taught me so much over this Tzedakah and more, and many more, much more. And I thank you for that. Because I'm a better man because of it.
Okay, we're going to have to change this.
I love you, Scotty.
I love you too, Thomas. Okay.
We're just saying thank you, Scotty.
Baruch Hashem, may he be praised. May the Creator be praised. All right, everybody, I'm going to bring us to a descent. Ronald, I seen you had your mic unmuted. Was you going to say something?
No, I was just preparing myself, but be quick and messing around trying to unmute it. So I thought I'd get it ready in case something came up.
Okay. Listen, those of you that are listening by Power Faith Radio, we thank you so much for coming and spending time with us tonight. Those of you on YouTube, Outreach Noah, thank you so much for coming to being here with us. Those of you by B'nai Noach Fellowship, thank you. A Simple Walk, thank you. South Carolina Noahides, thank you. And remember, if you give Tzedakah today, it'll change you, it'll change your family, it'll change your community, and together we can change the world.
Amen.
We'll see everybody back next week, and Terry's going to be back teaching next week. Baruch Hashem. See you soon.